Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to Return to Dark Souls 2. I realized at the end of the last episode that I pretty much tackled that fight in the worst way possible. I didn't even buff up. I didn't turn back into human form, or was I? I don't even know. Mainly I didn't use my buff, and what's the point of going through all the trouble of getting this buff if I'm not even gonna use it? Yeah, you can run in here if you're quick enough and get some damage in. Just wasn't quick enough. What the hell? Honestly, half of these attacks I've never even seen. I don't know if they changed him for Scholar or something. Because he's doing some stuff that I don't think he's ever done. Yeah, for that attack it's better to go unlocked. Oh, that should have counted. Both of those should have counted as hits. Because I didn't hit his armor. We're going unlocked is better. Even if I'm using the spear. Yeah, sometimes even if you try your hardest, you're gonna hit his shell. But I do like this boss mechanic, you know, that he's... Yeah, that's definitely new. I don't think I've ever seen him do a 4-hit combo. Again, this is an interesting boss mechanic that you can't just like go behind him and attack wherever you want. You need to use a bit of... he has a 5th? I've honestly, half of these things I've never even seen. Especially these attacks. They must have changed a few things. Or maybe I just... Yeah, he has that. I know he has that. The water spit. So maybe they changed things around. I'm honestly not sure. Alright, let's get out of here. You can go... Yeah, you can go under him. The only problem with going under him is you're not in front of him then to attack. Obviously. Okay, we can kill him. He's dead. Imagine if that hit his armor and got me killed. And we get Demon of Song Soul and the Key to the Embedded. The Key to the Embedded, like I said, is the main attraction here. This weapon used to be absolutely shit, basically. It cannot be upgraded. And it is a key, as it says in the name. It unlocks the embedded that we saw earlier. The once human embedded, realizing that he could never resist the temptations of the flesh, bound himself eternally with chains. Since then, he has awaited the day that somebody will find this key and bury it within his bosom. It's not his bosom, it's his face that we bury it in, but whatever. The only problem is that if you use up the key to the embedded, or if you unlock it, you do actually lose the key itself. But yeah, this weapon was pretty much the worst weapon in the game. Obviously, it wasn't meant to be a weapon, so it has like it had no scaling, no scaling, no way to upgrade it or anything. I don't think it was even buffable. So pretty much the only people who used it were basically going for like challenge runs. There's also this tower here. Just don't want to fall off. They put basilisks here. But yeah, there's this little extra tower here that you don't really go to often. Yeah, there didn't used to be basilisks here. Oh, and they blocked it with... I have a fragrant branch. I don't think we need these fragrant branches much. And for some reason there is a bonfire here, even though this is already the transition to the next area, so... Sometimes, you know, this game has, I would say, quite a few pointless bonfires, but people have died here, which is interesting. Don't exactly know what, because I remember that there is something here. I just don't remember what, and they might have changed it, because I definitely didn't come here on my first playthrough. Try hollow. Hollow, but pointless ahead. Oh yeah, there was something you have to go hollow to unlock this door, right? Yeah, that's why there's like death signs there. People have killed themselves. But I don't think there's anything really that useful. How many fucking... I wanted to check this in the last episode, but I forgot. I have 4 Twinkling Titanites. So I said I needed 1 more to upgrade, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I do, but now that the um, the girl that sells all the upgrade stones. Now that she's here, I think she sells Twinkling. So I'll go talk to her. Yeah, I haven't even spoken to her since I got here. Oh no, she doesn't? Huh, weird. That's kind of weird. I'm like 90% sure I need one more to be able to... No, I don't, apparently. And of course, for the last upgrade, we need 5. So I could have gone in there with a stronger weapon, but honestly, the Demon of Song, aside from these 2 deaths, wasn't that much of a problem. Let's go ahead. I definitely need more endurance. I think I'm gonna get to 35 endurance first because it's just... I feel like that's the more useful one. Since I'm using a weapon that's kind of heavy on the endurance requirement. And I do have a fire seed, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Alright, so we only need 2 more. And even if I don't find any, I can just look up where there are 2 fire seeds. Cool. Let's get back to... Yeah, this is called Rise of the Dead. Again, giving you a hint that you need to be hollow. What is behind that door? I just don't want to kill myself and get rid of my humanity. So that's why I'm not going to do this. I mean, if it was something really good, I'd probably remember it. So it's probably not something that good. It's definitely not like a super secret oh, what the hell? I thought he would turn around, but apparently not. Okay, this isn't a bottomless pit. At least making sure of that. That was not exactly how I intended things to go. And I didn't get the critical either. That was a mess, honestly. But it worked out. I didn't think this basilisk would follow me. That's a fancy ass door. I've never even looked at this door before. But we are now heading into the area I still don't remember the name of, but the catacombs. Or this game's version of the catacombs. Pretty easy area. Not gonna be too much going on here. Has a cool boss at the end, but again, not a very difficult one. Honestly, I would say that after the halfway point, after you get to Drang Lake Castle, none of the bosses honestly are too difficult. Not counting DLC, of course, because that's a different story. But yeah, Velstadt, Demon of Song, even the Mirror Knight is pretty easy, I would say. If you know what to do, Aldia is gonna show up here. Undead Crypt. Yeah, it's a pretty simple name. God, does he always have to make an entrance like that? What an asshole. And this, he does actually have kind of a face, as you can see. That's his nose, one eye. I mean, he has a really cool voice as well. Obviously, he talks about Vanguard and I think Lucatil in the other one. Doesn't matter what you answer. I think at least. So yeah, really interesting NPC. We'll talk about him later, I think, when we get his final encounter. Not the final encounter, but the other. That's where the bonfire used to be. That's why I went there. Kind of just like instinctively. But he just said a lot of interesting things. I think the way... Just back to Dark Souls 3, I think Aldrich... You fight Aldrich in like his Gwendolyn form. Mainly because I think they didn't want to make Aldrich be too similar to Aldia. Because, I mean, if I had to imagine what Aldrich would look like, I would imagine something like this. So I think that's why Aldrich is a little different in Dark Souls 2. They didn't want to have like two similar bosses. But yeah, what he talked about there is something that has kind of always been hinted. Back to lore discussion, something that has always been hinted at. This is where... This is the enemy, the worst case of pivoting in the game, I would say. These guys, when they raise their shields, I mean, raise their... God, I can't even talk. When they raise their halberd like that, with that slam attack, they can pretty much do a 180 spin, and it's really, really annoying. And in this area is where they are the most prominent, and this is where they seem to do this the most. Also a really interesting enemy in this area. This is the Imperious Knight. Obviously what's really cool about them is that they use a shield to attack. 2 shields, in fact. And you can get its moveset if you farm for it. But like what Aldia was talking about has kind of always been hinted in the series. And that is that humans, the way they are in the Souls universe, their true form is basically their hollowed form. Like as we see in the start of... Oh, this is another Forlorn. The one with the scythe. That armor. I wonder if this armor, if you get this armor set, does it actually have that much poise? The only thing that kind of saves us here is that the Reaper weapons suck in this game. Trying to backstab. Do you see how little damage that does? Oh, that was a weird backstab. It does so little damage because the Reapers in this game only deal optimal damage if you hit enemies with the very, very tip of the weapon. It can even bypass shields and everything, but you need to have like perfect spacing for Reapers to work well, and no one has that good spacing. It's kind of a shame because they all have cool weapons, the class itself, but they're basically useless. Who is this NPC, by the way? Devotee Scarlet Orange. She's the one that fucking fell off, isn't she? Way back in Earthen Peak. So yeah, back to what I was talking about finally. We always get a hint that humans, their true form is their hollowed form. Like even if you look at the intro cutscene of Dark Souls, you see humans and the furtive pygmy, they pretty much look like hollows. So basically what Aldia is saying is that like how we look here, for example, in our human form, it is just an illusion. Maybe an illusion that comes from the fact that, you know, Gwyn, the Lord of Light, he was talking about banished dark from humanity. But of course, humanity always returns to its true form, and that's where the undead curse starts occurring. Okay, you can shut up now. What was I talking about? These guys always interrupt me. First the Forlorn, now this guy. But what all the AI is talking about is that we have a chance of becoming a true monarch. And what that means, we'll find out later. We need to visit Vendrick to be able to discover what that means. This guy is really cool as well. He's Egdane, Guardian of the Crypt. And he's a Finito, Milfinito, Finito. You can kind of guess where they all come from. And you'll see why when we get to Vendrick himself. But yeah, so Vendrick almost managed to become a true monarch. And by the way, if you do actually light a torch in here, all these guys will attack you. But we don't want to do that. Don't want to piss them off. But yeah, I think Vendrick is a pretty interesting character. I like that he is similar to Gwyn in a lot of ways. But I think that because Vendrick gets more backstory, especially here in the Scholar version, he is a lot more interesting. I'm pretty sure I can say that this game's lore, I think, and characters are very underrated. A lot of people like to shit on this game's lore, but it's actually pretty deep. And it does have some implications for Dark Souls 3 as well. Like, we never get to find out in Dark Souls 3, at least not yet, what happens to our character from Dark Souls 2 if you choose the alternate ending. Because, and I'm gonna spoil this now, because I mean, again, this game is very old, so I don't think this counts as a spoiler. But in the new ending we get, we essentially transcend our hollowing, because we get the crowns, and the crowns allow us to never go hollow. So who knows what they'll do with that? Maybe they'll incorporate that. Or not, who knows? Yeah, you gotta make it through here. This room didn't used to have all these graves. Oh shit. It's not good. Let's get out of here. The problem is, you saw me bypass all those statues and everything. Now that the bell has been rung, they will spawn some very irritating enemies. And here comes these guys. When they attack you with melee, it's not that bad, but it's their spells that are really irritating. That's why I gotta say, you gotta be careful of the Usurper. You saw how much damage she did. Because she uses a dagger, she can attack very quickly. I mean, daggers are okay in this game. They're actually semi-viable, so... she's not that stupid with using that. At least we get an effigy out of it. How did that not hit? There's another one in the walls, I think. Just checking, you know. I've gotten hit by quite a few mimics in this playthrough, so I'm kind of paranoid. Evelyn. The good old Evelyn. This weapon is another one of those. It kind of falls in the same category as Sand Tears. When the game first came out, Evelyn was overpowered as fuck. Mainly, it used to have like really, really good tracking. And there was even like an infamous PvP build called Havelin, where you wore full Havel's armor and used dual Evelyns. And that thing was like super powerful. And of course they nerfed it, because it did actually need nerfing. I think what they did is they removed the amount of tracking on the weapon. Which, you know, made it pretty good because it's still viable. I mean, Evelyn is not bad in this game. You can use it very easily still. Can I? I wonder if the... Oh. I was gonna say, I wonder if the magic damage you get from this weapon, the bow, would be enough to kill him. But these guys, it's pretty difficult to get their stuff to drop. Especially since there's only like 3 of them throughout the whole crypt. You gotta be careful here as well. There's a bunch of those graves in that room. And here, first of all, you lower this, it acts as a shortcut. And I'm gonna get my flame butterfly out. How the hell do I have 3 bonfire ascetics? And as you can see, you can drop down. You just gotta be very precise here. This is a pretty cool thing. It's kind of just like a neat little extra. But if you come here and light this torch, the whole crypt lights on fire. Oh yeah, they added this, didn't they? Fuck, I forgot. They added it where a bunch of these like really strong enemies spawn. These are like clerics. And I think... Oh, you can get bonfire ascetics from them? I think I might have just screwed myself over because these guys are pretty strong. I completely forgot that... Oh, they added another Imperious Knight. Not a backstabbable enemy, by the way. I just wanted to try. Actually, that does a lot more damage than my spear. Ormus Great Shield. Hey, I got 1/2. Let's see. Soul Vessel. Don't need it, but still. It's okay that we got it. Where is that thing? There it is. Shield of the knights who long ago attempted to conquer the undead crypt. They bore no weapons, only a shield split into left and right halves, which they used to playfully crush their foes until their corpses were needed beyond recognition. The engraving depicts 2 messengers from the hereafter, who welcomed the recently dead by reviewing the merits of their deeds in life. Pretty interesting. That's about all the lore we get on these guys, but I like the description of how they used to need their enemies. That's pretty gruesome. Anyways, we're back to the original bonfire here. I'm 25 minutes in, which is like the worst time to be at because it's not enough to start getting to the boss and everything, but ending the episode now would be a little too short. Oh, come on. That was... If you push me off, I'm gonna be so angry. I'm gonna push you off instead. Goodbye. Couple of them spawn. Or do they respawn? I don't remember. Yeah, they have dark miracles and everything. Actually, they're not as strong as I remember them. I remember these guys being pretty annoying, but they're not terrible. Yeah, they do respawn, don't they? Of course. Come on. Unfortunately, this game doesn't have Dark Souls 3's mechanic where like opposing teams of enemies fight each other. It would be so cool if these clerics actually fought all the Cyan Knights and everything who are down here guarding Vendrick. But you know, like I said, that is not the case. Insolent. Yeah, these are the insolent clerics. Nice. That's exactly what I need. Yeah, I was pretty sure that's not a mimic. But it's also not very useful. I guess what I can do is get to Vendrick. You have to be very careful. If you hit that bell, a bunch of those enemies spawn that I showed. I think I got one of their drops. Yeah, the Ladia White Robe. Lady Apostles in their conceit occupied the undead crypt and misused death. This invoked the ire of Finito, who branded them as transgressors. And I guess their punishment is to guard the crypt? I don't know. How the fuck did they... Wait, why are they spawning? I don't... That was another one. He hit the bell. How the hell did I miss him? I didn't know there were two of these guys. But yeah, these guys carry Blue Flame, which is a sword that can cast... what you call it? Sorceries. It's a pretty decent weapon, very popular. And the only problem is these guys do not just cast sorceries. They cast pyromancies. I think they can even heal themselves and everything. So that's why I said that they were pretty annoying. And they have... Yeah, that's a very strong spell. Do they keep spawning? Hope not, because then I'm gonna be... There, I got it. Nice. Again, like I said, it would be cool even if these guys like fought all the enemies. Whoa, that's why you gotta be careful. In fact, yeah, they put a fucking Dragon Knight down there in front of Vendrick. I think the best way is to just run there. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do. That's why I did it the last time as well. There's no point clearing out that corridor because it's just gonna be annoying. So yeah, I think running is the best option. You can also summon Agdane for this fight if you want, but it's really pointless. He does have a unique moveset. He is one of those unique NPCs because he doesn't use... Like, you know, most of the characters, the NPCs use, like, your character model. Well, Agdane has a unique one, but that's besides the point. We'll take care of Velstadt in the next episode, but for now, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Dark Souls 2, and I'll see all of you next time. Goodbye.